Awesome. We're live.
Says we're live. Cool.
That's right.
Now we just wait for the notifications, right?
Where do you mean the Facebook notifications, or are you looking at something different?
Yeah, I mean, I used to get notified when we went live in the Art of Email Marketing, and occasionally I get notified when you go live, and I use that as the touchstone to open up the comments since we can't see who they're from inside the group.
Right. I don't get. I guess I see a notification that you
just
went
came
live.
up.
Right, but I guess it makes sense that you wouldn't get a notification when you go live, right? You're not going to. It's kind of funny.
Right. No, I can refresh my own homepage.
Okay,
It's it just came up for me in the Art of Email Marketing. So
cool.
I'm there and I'll write a comment. How about that?
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Rick Burdo, how's it going, man? Long time no talk. How are you doing? Are you actively making money with your email list after all these years? Are you still in the game, or are you, what are you spending your time on in business? I'm very curious. It's been a long time since we talked. So, one thing we've been talking about this, Joshua, one thing that I've noticed is that there are a lot of people who've been thinking about starting an internet business. They've been maybe studying internet marketing, email marketing, direct response as a hobby. They've been collecting information,
Right.
taking action here and there, but their main job, their main income, their main bread and butter wasn't in jeopardy. And when you're starting a new business or going off on a new venture, I mean, there are a few different types of motivation that cause people to do that, right?
Right.
One is a hope, a dream, a desire for a bigger, better, brighter future. And that's cool. And one is your life blows up in your face and you have to find something new.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Ideally both. Because there's nothing worse than trying to convince a potential client whose whole life just exploded, but they have no direction, no focus, and no idea what they actually want. It's really hard to work with a client like that because they don't have any hopes, dreams, desires, or aspirations. They're like, tell me what to do in order to be successful, but they don't know what they want to be successful at.
Right.
But then it's also really hard when you have somebody who has hopes, dreams, and desires, but they have no real need to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
That hunger issue, right? And I'm sure that you've dealt with this probably even more so now that you've had success. I know I have, where your mind still says that you're hungry, but your actions certainly don't show that to be true. Whereas when you're in that startup mode or for the first time and you don't know whether you can do it yet, that hunger is real. It's, what do they call it? Ignorance on fire.
That's a good term. I have the biggest problem with that. I'm not very motivated to do things that I know I can do.
Mm.
I like taking the risk. I like the nervousness of not knowing if I'm going to pull it off,
Mm.
And so it comes back to that repetition routine issue. It's just it doesn't
That's interesting.
Doesn't fire me up. But
I think I'm the same way. But it's interesting because maybe it's just arrogance or cockiness or whatever, but I don't ever think I can't pull it off. I know I can, even though I've never done it before. It's just a matter of figuring out the right combination.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're willing to fail along the way, then that's true.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But still, I like the thrill. I like the thrill of not knowing, but when
I like the thrill of creation, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just, the thrill of making something happen that you haven't done before, or
right.
just, creating from nothing, molding something from thin air and poof, there it is because you said so. No other reason, no evidence to support that it was even possible, but you just made it happen. That to me is the ultimate,
That's right.
That's to me the juice of what it means to be alive personally.
And that's something that entrepreneurs. Hey, Gene, what's going on? Rick?
Yes, I meant to say hi. Hi,
So
Gene.
when you're
Uh-oh.
first starting, what's up? You're a little bit frozen, Joshua. Now you're really frozen. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Will he come back or will he get kicked off? I don't know. In the meantime, let's talk about email marketing. So one of the interesting things about this is that you, here, I'll just spotlight myself for a second. Oh, there it goes. So what will happen is when you have worked for yourself, maybe you haven't worked for yourself, maybe you had a job your whole life. Um, Maybe you started a business offline, but it was really you were trading time for money. Maybe you were a one-person show. Or even if you were a bricks and mortar business, ultimately your business was capped by the local audience, by the local population, by how many people walked in your door, whatever, but you weren't able to ever really understand or really experience what it's like to have leverage in your business. And so this is the big thing that happens when you build an email-based business that is different than any other type of business that I've started. Now, there are few other types of businesses that follow these same principles. I'm just talking about the difference, Joshua, between a direct response email-based business and essentially every other business in the world, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Where you have to change the way you think in order to build one of these businesses and have it be successful. So I'm just going to give you some examples of businesses that I started and ultimately failed at, right? I mean, whatever, failed at. I started businesses and they're not still running, so they died. But, one was a salsa company where I would take whatever money I had left. I'd do a batch of, I knew I need to get $1,000 together to buy the jars and the ingredients and rent the space or whatever. Maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was $1,500, and I'd do a small salsa batch run and make the salsa, and then I'd spend the next few weeks or few months selling it, and then I'd try to save enough money to do a bigger batch, right? And it was just a very slow process, and sometimes sometimes it would take forever to sell it because I had a lot of schoolwork to do. I was in college, and sometimes I just got tired of the rejection of going to stores and trying to sell it and people not buying any. And, and sometimes I got tired of the fact that even when I sold it, I didn't actually make any money. I didn't have a lot of leverage. I had products that I was creating. So it wasn't a situation where I had no leverage because, we were creating products and selling thousands of jars of salsa, but there was no leverage in my bank account. I can tell you that much. And then,
Yeah, and it still was dependent on you being the rainmaker, right? I mean, like
right.
a certain amount of time, you run out of you.
Yeah. And I didn't know how to find people. I didn't know how to train people that would do it. And I wasn't thinking along that way either. And so, I started a few other businesses that involved products like that I or Jody and myself would make and try selling. But it was really the same problem.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I had my hypnosis business, and that started succeeding. And I had clients, and I was getting paid $75 an hour. And sometimes I'd work with groups, and sometimes I'd get paid $500 an hour doing hypnosis sessions when I went to Boston. It was great.
Yeah, it's nice.
But I didn't have any real leverage. And what happened when I started the email business, I started learning this stuff from Joshua and Nitro and Joiner and all these guys, is basically what happened was I realized that my email list was an awful lot like a bank account. And if I could add a few subscribers to that bank account, to that email list every day, it became more valuable. And then when I sent a really good email to that email list, that was when I did a withdrawal from the bank account. And as the email list got bigger, those withdrawals got bigger. And as my relationship and connection with my email list got better, more people read my emails and would buy when I recommended people to buy stuff.
Right.
And now the same amount of work to send an email to 100 people is to send that same email to 10,000 people. Okay?
Yeah.
The same amount of work to 100,000 people. The payoff is so much greater.
Yeah, very, very leveraged. And a type of compounding leverage depending on how you built it. I mean, that's what I'm excited about for tomorrow with the masterclass or the workshop. because, you know, like not all email lists are created equal. Just because you have 100,000 or 500,000 or 2 million subscribers does not mean that it's going to be the kind of thing where you can send an email, make a withdrawal, send an email, make a withdrawal. And that's why I'm excited that you're giving people a fish, right, to feed them for a day, but you're also teaching them how to fish, i.e. that on the workshop, you're going in depth on how to adapt it, you know, these fishes so that you can continue to fish on your own, so to speak, and, you know, eat immediately, but also how to do it in a way that you're building the longevity, long-term asset value, equity value in your list, because that becomes your true business asset.
That's right. So if you want to start a new email-based business, or you just want to get good at this skill, at the skill of building an email list that you can sell your products and services to, you may or may not know what your products and services are yet. Or maybe you're an established business owner and you're clear on that, but you want more leverage. You want to be able to get the message out to more people on a daily basis to sell more of your products, more of your services, and ultimately generate more profit for yourself, for your family, for your employees, and for your business, right? So we're doing, I'm giving away, so I've been doing email marketing for 17 years. And we're doing an encore. We did this training last week. Everybody loved it. So we decided to do it again this week for people that missed it. And so it's going to be a live training. I'm giving away my top 30 emails of all time. It's a swipe file. So you can not only use these emails and deploy them as your own directly to your list to sell your products and services or affiliate offers that you promote, whatever it is you already sell. Okay, you can sell these to your list. And if you're brand new to email marketing, this is going to be a great first experience for you to kind of see a little behind the scenes. So if you have an email list, you're going to be able to bring this directly to the bank. If you don't have an email list, then you want to be entirely focused on what happens after the registration for the class and the PDF. So couple things. To join us, we're doing this tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and the link to join us on the or on the email workshop is etgworkshops.com, and I just popped that into the comments, and that will appear in a few different places. And we'll go ahead and pop those into the comments. So it's
Do you want me to put it on your personal page, Talman?
That would rock. That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you. etgworkshops.com. So when you go there and you register, the first thing is you're going to get emailed a link to the top 30 emails of all time PDF and swipe file that you can use to deploy to your list. Now, tomorrow at 2, we are doing a live walkthrough workshop where I'm going to bring you through that PDF. I'm going to show you the different types of emails in there, talk to you about why they work and how they work, so you can not only deploy them, but so you can learn to write red hot emails just like these in your own way, in your own style, so that you can use the psychological principles of these emails in order to really make them work and adapt them to your own list and your own niche and your own market. So you're going to love that. However, if you are looking to really up your game and understand more about connecting with your people and developing what we call your platform, email is a piece of your platform. It's the channel, right? It's the technology that's kind of the backbone of staying in touch with your people, but your platform is a lot more than that. So Joshua, do you want to talk a little bit about the platform audit process?
Sure. Basically, it's a way that I'm just going to stall for a second here as I type the last and hit enter. Okay, there we go. So platform, you want me to talk a little bit about platforms, yes?
Yes, please.
So basically, the bringing this full circle, like when I first created NPod back in 2003, based upon the previous 4 or 5 years experiences of building several very successful online businesses, as well as some god-awful failures that went into that. This is my latest thinking in kind of like summing it all up in terms of what made, earlier I said that there's a difference between, not all email lists are created equal. And I stumbled onto this completely by accident. And so the platform is a way of discovering where the audit process really is 3 steps, right? The first is an assessment, which is where we go in depth to find out where you are currently, whether you're just beginning, you're intrigued, or you're frustrated, or you're further along the path, and then kind of get a handle on where you are in relationship to that. And everything relates back to the engine of your platform, which is email in our case. It leverages a whole bunch of other things, but then as you go through the assessment, then the next step is to be able to build a customized blueprint based upon those insights of where it is that you are right now and where it is that you say you want to go. That's right. Because it's important that you strive for your own goals rather than somebody else's idealized picture of what success should look like for you, right? Mm-hmm. It's vitally important. And something that you said earlier that really struck a chord. I know we've been talking a lot with people that are very successful offline. They may be small business owners or commissioned salespeople, and they were, doing very well. They had their systems down offline, but because of the shift in the pandemic and needing to shift online into a virtual space, now they're shifting into that environment, and they're like fish out of water. So that's another piece of it. Also, even if they don't, it's about transitioning on it. And that's really what a platform's all about. And then the third piece is of the audit itself is how do we help you, serve you to dig in deeper? Because oftentimes what happens in the assessment is that some of the answers they think they're very clear on things, but when we start digging a little bit deeper below the surface, they realize that, hey, wait a minute, we really need to get a lot more clear, because in their heart, they know what they know about, on an energy level, let's say. Right. But they have no idea how to communicate that to their clients. And they think in a face-to-face situation, in a belly-to-belly situation, yes, that translates. The energy translates. The excitement translates. However, if you don't know how to bottle that up into your own platform and really get clear on that. And that's where the vitalness of the third part of actually having a custom personal blueprint that adapts for what you need so that you can build your own platform to bridge you from where you are currently with your current, resources, skills, blah, 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 to help take you to where it is that you say you want to go. And, obviously we're doing this because we're looking for clients for ourselves as well. And, the good news, bad news situation is we fully know that very few of the people that we actually do these private blueprinting consults with qualify to join us. And that's okay. We still do it with the intention of serving everybody and leaving them improved. And that's a little side note tip for you, that whatever process that you do in your platform should leave people feeling inspired, empowered, and feeling better off than like it was time well spent. Whatever your investment of time is that you're asking for them to do, whether it's to buy a specific product or to take a specific action or whatever, you want them to come away from that exchange with you feeling uplifted, feeling better about the exchange, regardless of whether they choose to take that action forward or not. Anyway, I probably told more than what you wanted me to say, Telman, so I'll shut up now.
So guys, whether you're a brand new email marketer, you're thinking about getting into email marketing, whether you're an existing email marketer, there are really a couple key elements that are going to make the difference between whether you're going to pop and really make this work or whether you're just going to be kind of like limping along indefinitely, right? Sometimes we call it fire in the belly. Do you have it? Are you hungry? Joshua, you sum it up frequently by saying, well, look, it's really a question of, are you playing not to win? Or not, are you playing to win or are you playing not to lose? Right?
And I was thinking about that very sentence this morning. I mean, that's always rubbed me the wrong way because, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm not a, win-lose type of guy. Like I'm not that. I like to look for, win-win. But anyway, this morning I was thinking about it. Really what it is going in with the intention of succeeding.
That's right.
Not with going in with the intention of, well, let's see how this one goes. Well, let's, it probably won't work. No matter what your words are saying, your music is saying, a totally different thing. And when your music and your words are in full alignment, that's when you get the intention part right. And that's when, things work out. Now, it's not necessarily going to be a straight line. In fact, success is never a straight line. There's always zigzags. There's always, curveballs to get thrown at you. There's always that gap between, knowing what to do and actually successfully applying it in the real world. However, when you have the intention of success and that, like I will find a way, like I was talking about earlier, like nothing I've ever looked at that I do is ever risky to me because I know that I can figure it out. Like, fail forward or whatever the cliche of the time is that you want to,
Yeah, but it's really a never give up. It's like, look, you may encounter all sorts of obstacles that are going to challenge you, that are going to be hard, that are going to be difficult, that are going to make you feel like an idiot. Like there are a million reasons to give up.
And I'm sorry to jump in there, Tillman, but for me, it's more than just never give up, right? Because never give up implies a doggedism, which is fine and can serve you. But sometimes you need to know when to adapt, when to zigzag. And if you have this do or die, never give up attitude, then you may be missing the golden opportunity that if you just kind of like a little bit, you see something, a whole new, frame of reference. So not to get so, that's really why I was thinking about like the intention to succeed or the intention to see it through and to have what I want to have happen, to like going in expecting to have some sort of success eventually, and the adventure of not knowing what's what.
You don't, and realizing that you're probably not going to get there the way you think you're going to get there.
Yeah, I can venture to say that almost never happens the way that you think it's going to go.
That's right. That's right. But it makes it, I mean, that really is the difference with success in any field, in any area of interest is it never give up? Is it know when to shift? I mean, yes, but there's a difference between pressing on, even if it's in a slightly different way or different direction than you intended, or a radically different way or intention than than you thought, versus throwing your hands in the air saying, "Oh, I can never do anything like this. Why did I even bother trying? I should just
so and so screwed me again.
Let me just go back to bed."
Yeah,
and
yeah, I mean, it comes down to like what we've talked about many times, not the most recent of which was yesterday when we talked about like when you were ready. Like I'm honored that I was the catalyst, that was the teacher, or that my products and services and resources were there. But the reason for your success was not me. Was not those resources. It was you. You were ready to play to win, or to have the intention of like, I'm going to figure this out. Right. I don't have a freaking clue how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to figure this out. And when you go in with that attitude, the resources, yes, it definitely helps to speed the process and reduce pain and suffering if you have the right guidance on how to do that. But you'll find it, you'll figure it out, whether by hook or crook or whatever, who you've got to model it after, who you've got to take out to lunch, who you've got to, go meet, network through or whatever. I mean, that's immaterial to you once you've made up that decision. And all I'm saying is that whatever that shift is, that's the secret sauce that we need to figure out how to bottle and have a push button that makes that happen. But there's no way that, the only way that's an internal game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that isn't an external game.
Yeah. Nobody can do that for you. Either you're there and you're like, oh, now I can live this way. I didn't realize it before,
right.
Or you're not,
and you know what? It's cool because you get to decide, you could have lived that, as a victim all your life up to this point for 40 years.
That's right.
And then in this instant, you make up your mind that I'm done and I'm now going to move forward. I'm going to figure it out. There's got to be an answer. I can figure it out, or I can find the people that can guide me. And in that moment, that shift takes place, and that's your decision. It's totally within your personal power to put forth.
So there are a lot of business owners out there who are deciding to go online for the first time right now. They've been thinking about it and kind of wanting to do it for a while. Maybe their business has been, their bricks and mortar local business has been plateaued, or maybe even slowing down. And then Corona cut it in half, right? The pandemic was like,
yeah, that's probably being kind,
just, or more. I mean, we talked with someone recently whose business was cut by 80%, had no control. It was a face-to-face sales situation.
Yeah.
The entire industry got constrained, and this individual is now needing to completely transform the way that the sales process works,
right?
Moving toward a more leveraged platform-based model that we're teaching. So if you're a salesperson and you're not able to do sales calls anymore, whether you run your own business or whether you're an independent representative for somebody else, this is a huge opportunity for you, because the world not only is changing, but the world has changed. And let me tell you something, it's never going back to the way that it was. It's going to be different now, right? Everybody's online. Every business is now online, finally.
And it's not like it hasn't been going on, but now it's more obvious and prevalent, right?
Huge
that changes here. Yeah. And something else that occurred to me in what you were just saying, like our newest NPod client that just enrolled, Mark, the type of businesses that get passed down generationally, like I'm sure that he experienced it. Like he followed in his father's footsteps, but he had to innovate when he took it over and create his, mark and to be able to survive. And now it's got to evolve again. And so often, these businesses that get passed down that are really nice and substantial, and they get, like mentored through family, right? My great grandfather that started the kosher butcher store in the Massachusetts area, Jacob Shafran's and Sons, and my grandfather was the and Sons, or he might have been. I forget what the generational is, but that business ended with his generation, with my grandfather's generation, But my grandfather, when he took it over and he was the driving force, he innovated like crazy. He's the one that brought self-service to supermarkets in New England.
Oh.
And, so he created innovation that shifted there. And the thing was that, the next generation didn't have any interest in taking it over. My parents' generation and aunts and uncles, they had their own thing. So it really didn't have that kind of life ahead of it. But when they went to sell it, and they did, the only thing that was left really was like a $15 an hour job by the end of it, because it was the name. Shafran's Meats had a great reputation, but it didn't, whoever was buying it was buying it for the name. And if they didn't innovate, they were buying themselves a $15 an hour job.
That's right. That's right. And so businesses change, business models change, the way we communicate changes. The underlying psychology doesn't really change, but we have text messages, we have email, we have voice messages, we have Facebook, we have live streams, we have YouTube, we have podcasts. I mean, the number of technological ways that we're communicating with each other is the proof, right? So yeah, guys, we're doing a great email training tomorrow. If email marketing is interesting to you, if you want to get better at your game of email, if you have an email list and you want to get your hands on my top 30 emails of all time PDF, then go to www.etg,
as in escape,
the grind, etgworkshops.com, and register for tomorrow's workshop. You'll get the PDF, and you'll also see that there are some cool things that you can do. You're going to be able to You're going to be able to take the platform assessment and really challenge your knowledge about how much you know about your business, about your people, and about your platform. It's probably going to ask you some questions that you've never thought about before to really give you some clarity and some insight over how you can actually go about growing your business. All right.
Plus, if you've got the insights, it's going to give you the opportunity to show off a bit too.
That's right. That's right. We have a great email marketing Facebook group. You'll end up getting a link to that if you're not already a member, and called The Art of Email Marketing. Lots of good stuff coming up. So go to ETG Workshops. We are going to be on in like 26 hours or so tomorrow. And we're going to do a walkthrough. I'm going to show you how all of the emails are constructed, why they work, how you can deploy them, where they're going to be useful, and which ones are not going to be useful in your market and your niche. So
under what circumstances they are and are not useful.
That's right. So be sure to show up and interact with me. Let me know what your niche is, what your market is, because we're going to be customizing the whole train to the people that attend live. So awesome. So
I just wanted to underline that with, I'm super excited because of we're giving them the fish to feed them immediately, which is your templated PDFs, no games. These are multi-million-dollar emails that are free to you. But we're also going to then show you how to fish with those fish. So you're getting both, and the teaching model of what they are is like the best, because you can learn and simultaneously, which is, anybody that knows me, that's what I'm a fan of. It's everything that I try to do is based on experiential platforms and frameworks.
That's right. All right. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, boy.
Rock and roll. All right. Well, I think we should probably wrap for the day, Joshua.
Sounds great.
Rock and roll. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 and hopefully at 2 as well.